We got a new draft order, so let's go ahead and do a new mock draft. I be doing mock the mocks all the time, so it's time for y'all to criticize me. We're doing trades in this one to make it a bit entertaining, but what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below as always. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. We used the Draft Network, their mock draft simulator. So if you're butthurt about the order, blame the Draft Network. Let's go ahead. Let's get into this. So the New York Jets picking first overall. You already see it. I got Kayvon Thibodeau. I know some of y'all think offensive line's a tragedy in New York. It is if you're playing the guard position. The tackles this year, if you're taking the 3 starting tackles, there we go, 3. Because Mekhi Becton got hurt, I think week 1. Morgan Moses has been there, as well as George Fant, who's actually playing good football. They've only allowed 14 pressures and 1 sack this season. That's 3 guards. Now, if you look at Greg Van Roten and Elijah Vera-Tucker, the rookie, only those 2 guards have allowed 27 pressures and 3 sacks. You have a guard problem. You're not picking guard first overall. Just saying. So we're going with Kayvon Thibodeau. Just makes a ton of sense. I think once you get Carl Lawson back healthy, and then you also have, Bryce Huff as a solid rotation guy in there with Thibodeau. Myers, you could kick inside. He could be comfortable that way as well. I mean, you're just taking the best player in the draft in this case. That's just is what it is. We do have trades here, so I gotta remind myself, my little sheet here, of when a trade is present. At number 2, the Jacksonville Jaguars go Evan Neal. I mean, this one's kind of self-explanatory. Cam Robinson, free agent after this season. Dwan Taylor, he's been kind of up and down. They got Walker Little waiting in the wings. Evan Neal, though, he is easily the top tackle in this class thus far. So we're going to go ahead and take him there. Derek Stingley was also a viable option, I think. Kind of tough because I know the cornerback situation is not great in Jacksonville, but I mean, this is a pretty good corner class. We could take some later. It's something they could maybe address in free agency. I just want to head with Evan Neal because I think he's really good. Real quick, a special thanks to the Pigskin Podcast Network for sponsoring this video. If you want to support me and win money while doing it, then go ahead and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code TPPN. DraftKings is giving new customers $150 instantly when they bet $1 on any football game. So listen up if you don't want to miss out on the fun. Head to DraftKings Sportsbook app now and place a bet of $1 in any Week 4 game, and you will receive $150 in free bets instantly. If Sportsbook is not yet available in your state, DraftKings still has huge prizes up for grabs all season long with their daily fantasy bets. DraftKings has given all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code TPPN to receive $150 in free bets when you place a $1 bet on any football game. That's promo code TPPN. This week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You must be 21 years or older. New customers only. You have to have a minimum deposit of $5 and a $1 wager is required. 1 per customer and restrictions may apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or if you're in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. But the Houston Texans, you think I'm going quarterback? I ain't going quarterback. It's a weird quarterback draft. I'm going Derek Stingley, man. The cornerback position's actually pretty awful for the Houston Texans. So Derek Stingley just made sense. Let's just go ahead, give Davis Mills 1 more year. And let's just, especially in a draft, maybe we're not in love with the quarterback talent. Let's go ahead and just kind of build the team up. Davis Mills is truly not the guy. He'll probably be terrible, and we'll be picking in the top 5 again next year. And hopefully the quarterback class may be better then. So I think that's an all right strategy. Number 4, the Detroit Lions. I'm not going quarterback. I'm going Kyle Hamilton. I'm going to go ahead and grab all the blue chip prospects in this class. If I'm the Detroit Lions, I kind of also feel that way about the quarterback class. It's like, let me just go ahead and grab talent for my football squad. And then maybe we'll get a quarterback next year. We do still have a high second round pick. Maybe we go with one that maybe falls, or just address it in day 2 in general. Like, plus Jared Goff, he's not playing bad football. I mean, it's not great, but I think he's still keeping the team viable. He's keeping the team competitive. So yeah, I went ahead and just took which these 4 are presumably or easily probably the top 4 blue chip prospects in this class. Now, my first trade does come here because originally we have the New York Giants having back-to-back picks here. I think Danny Dimes is playing pretty darn well. I think he needs to throw the ball downfield a little bit more, but that could be all the game planning. That could be a game plan issue. So maybe we just use this pick here, the 5th. We'll keep the 6th, but let's use the 5th for a team maybe that's needy, that wants to trade up for a quarterback. If you're looking for what the trade details were, we'll do that at the end of the video. For me, the trade details aren't that big of an issue. But I have the Pittsburgh Steelers traded up, taking a quarterback, getting Matt Corral. I think Corral is kind of their type of guy. Corral, let's just presume tomorrow's game, Alabama, he lays the whooping on Alabama. Or even in a losing effort, looks pretty darn good. That's going to elevate his stock a ton in a very questionable quarterback class. Is Malik Willis maybe a Pittsburgh quarterback? Potentially. But I think Matt Corral is very, he could be Ben Roethlisberger-esque in terms of his escapability. I think he's a better athlete than Big Ben, don't get me wrong. But he's got an arm that can consistently deliver the ball at all levels. Yes, you kind of worry, when is Matt Corral going to crumble, fall apart, turn into 6 interception Matt? We haven't seen it yet this season. Maybe it doesn't happen. Hopefully it doesn't. But I got the Steelers. They trade up. We'll talk about what they traded, what all the details for the trade was a little bit later. But New York Giants, with their 6th pick, they're keeping it. We go with Ikem Ekwonu, or Icky for short, North Carolina State. He's playing great football, had a good game against a very good defensive line there for Clemson. I think he's only allowed 1 pressure as a pass rusher, which is a big improvement. Maybe he ends up playing tackle. If anything, he's going to be a really good guard in the league. Bruce Feldman made his freaks list. Says he's the Mekhi Becton of the offensive interior class. So guess what? The Giants are pretty bad on the interior. You could easily upgrade that position with Icky. And Nate Solder's not playing good football. Maybe they put Matt Pert there at right tackle. I think he deserves a little bit of a chance. I don't know why they're not giving him that opportunity. But if anything, you put Icky at right tackle. It just opens you up to a lot of options. Atlanta Falcons, Matt Ryan's been playing really bad football. This team is not pushing the ball downfield. I don't know what's up. Something needs to change. I'm going with quarterback Malik Willis. You get a quarterback that can create with his feet, and one that doesn't necessarily need to start out the gates. He could sit behind a Matt Ryan if you choose to do so. But I really like what we've seen from Malik Willis. Even in that loss against Syracuse, I think he was consistently delivering the ball with decent to great ball placement. I think the footwork, the foot mechanics have really helped his accuracy a ton. So Malik Willis, he's up here at number 7. Atlanta, they kind of need a change. That offense is not, to be fair, Atlanta's a really bad football team. Cincinnati Bengals. I would have loved if we had a Evan Neal here, right? To shore up maybe the other tackle spot. There's a lot of different ways we could go. I think they need a number one corner. I went with Kaiir Elam. I think he's the next corner off the board currently in this draft class. I mean, Trey Waynes, I don't know how, like, Trey Waynes didn't look great against Jacksonville. Don't know how long he's going to be on this roster. I really like Awuzie, but I think he's a cornerback too. Mike Hilton's was a good addition. Von Bell's playing good football when he's not, committing dumb holding calls or pass interference calls. Granted, that was really just the Jacksonville game. Jesse Bates, this secondary could look dominant because I think they kind of got it figured out with their front seven. I think the front sevens looked very impressive this season. So if you can't really address the offensive line, then let's go ahead. Let's just get a corner. Kaiir Elam, man. It makes all the sense in the world. All right, by the way, the other trade I did in this was the Colts. I went ahead and gave the Colts pick to the Eagles. Let's be honest, Carson Wentz, he's going to play over 70% of the snaps. That first-round pick is going to be the Eagles. So I played around with it like it was. Speaking of which, Eagles, this is their pick. I think this is technically the Colts pick, perhaps. Maybe not. But regardless, it's a pick that they own. And I decided to keep it here because 3 picks, I thought we could maybe play around and move around. But none of them, outside of this one at 9, came in the top 10. Because I think it was 9, and then they had 12 and 13, which is real unfortunate. Real unfortunate. So I decided, okay, we're going to probably trade down with one of these. Jalen Hurts, he hasn't been terrible this year. I think he's been pretty darn good. It's just they need to kind of figure out the play calling. They really need to utilize Jalen Hurts as a runner as well. So I thought, okay, let's address the defense. The defense it's getting old. I went with Aiden Hutchinson. I decided to keep this pick. Aiden Hutchinson just made too much sense. Brandon Graham, he's, I think, going to be 33, I believe. Brandon Graham. He is 33 currently. He's going to be 34 in April. Maybe a guy you move on from eventually. Derek Barnett, they're probably not going to hold on to him. And then Sweat, they probably keep, but I like him in a rotation role. Aiden Hutchinson just seems like the type of pass rusher the Eagles would love. Love, love, love. So number 10 is the Washington football team. They're going Sam Howe. So we have 3 quarterbacks go in the top 10, man. Quarterback, man, is a super valuable position. But Howe, he's got a strong arm. Washington, Ron Rivera, I think he's going to like a guy that can really take the shot deep downfield. And, Sam Howe, I think while he's having a tough time there, just having to create by himself, doesn't really have a lot of playmakers around him, has a poor offensive line. I think that's good for him. I think that's going to really help this guy get that grit. It's going to help him just be more of a playmaker. Because, you got to imagine, going to the NFL, if you're a highly sought-out quarterback, you're probably not going to a good team, so you're probably going to end up having to create by yourself. I mean, his guys, they're just not creating good windows, separation. He's having to not necessarily force the ball, but at some points, he's trying to throw guys open. I mean, look at Tua. Him having those wide open reads there at Alabama really hurt his first season in the NFL. Because he was looking at guys holding on to the ball, waiting for them to get open, and they just wouldn't. Not that they wouldn't get separation, but it's at some point you got to throw guys open. Windows, they're a lot tighter in the NFL. You're not dealing with a normal size house window. Those windows turn to doll houses. Dollhouse windows. Very small, very small. Anyway, good pick. I like this pick. Number 11. Who do we got here? Oh, it's the New York Giants. I ended up keeping this pick because I was like, oh, heck yeah. To be fair, I mean, we traded down, and we still got the guy I really wanted, DeMarvin Leal. I like this as a potential replacement in the future, maybe for Leonard Williams. He's a guy that can operate there at the 5-tech, I think, to a very high-end degree. If anything, like, you could throw him opposite of Azeez Ojulari, who's probably been their best pass rusher this season. But, yeah, man, I like Leal. To me, he is a blue-chip prospect as well in this class. I do have another trade, and this one was Philly had the next pick here, right? So I decided, okay, let's trade down here, but is anyone really trading up for a quarterback? I didn't really think so. Spencer Rattler being probably the only other quarterback I'd consider as a first rounder right now, and a lot of that's just arm talent. But I was like, man, there hasn't been a receiver to come off the board yet. Like Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, they look real spicy. What team likes to trade up to get players that they want? The New Orleans Saints. So I had the Saints trade up. They got Chris Olave. They went out, they saw him, they were like, we like him, we want him. They got him. I like Chris Olave. I think it's a good fit. Opposite of maybe Michael Thomas, maybe if he still wants to be there. We'll see. But they get an actual vertical downfield threat. The Eagles, they keep this pick at 13. I went with Ahmad Gardner. I was thinking about maybe linebacker, but does it feel too early for linebacker? I thought it did. So Steven Nelson, he's actually playing really good football next to Darius Slay. I imagine you bring him back, and if they don't, then yeah, corner becomes a need. Ahmad Gardner, I think he'd be a good fit for Gannon's defense. Yeah. I mean, safety, I really think the safety position's kind of weak for the Eagles. Like, Anthony Harris hasn't really gotten quality play next to him. Granted, Wallace, I think they need to use more as a slot guy than just a box guy here. I don't know. We'll see. Regardless, Ahmad Gardner, good pick. New England Patriots, Garrett Wilson. I really wanted Ahmad Gardner for the Patriots pick. It feels like a great pick, right? It's a good fit, but didn't happen. We could go with Andrew Booth. He's coming off a game where he allowed 2 touchdowns. Kind of a tough day at the office. I still like him a lot as a prospect. You'll still probably see him in the first round here. It's just right here. I felt like let's go ahead and grab the next top wide receiver, or maybe for some people it is their top wide receiver. That's how close Olave and Wilson are to one another. And I like the idea that Wilson he's really good at all levels. Like, he's actually averaging his average depth of target is bigger than Olave's right now. I think his is like 14 compared to Olave's being 12. But Wilson's a guy that could really good route runner. They want a consistent guy underneath for Mac Jones. He'd be a good guy as well. Carolina Panthers. This one was exceptionally tough because I think the defense is playing extremely well. Let's be honest, the offensive line, that's probably where we need to go. This offensive line class, it's a bit of a question mark. But I think Darian Kennard is a really good pick for the Panthers currently, because he's a guy that's really good at zone, really good zone blocker. At left tackle, currently in the SEC, playing extremely well. Could be a guard, but guess what? Panthers, they need help at guard anyway. So if Kennard ends up being a guard, great. It's a position of need regardless. But he's also a good gap blocker, though he doesn't really dabble in that as much as they do zone, because they're a real big inside zone blocking team there at Kentucky. Still, he dabbles a bit with gap being, Chris Rodriguez is probably the second or third best power back in this class. So it makes kind of sense. It makes a bit of sense. Let's keep this train rolling. Minnesota, They need corner. I ended up going Trent McDuffie over Andrew Booth. I just think McDuffie might be a better pick. Mike Zimmer has incorporated more cover 2 and more 2-high looks over the past couple of seasons. And I think that works with Trent McDuffie, who is just a very good corner. He's been locked down this season. I know Washington, that team hasn't been good, but he's been good. The New York Jets, this is their second pick. I was like, man, maybe I could trade down. I was thinking maybe I go with Booth, because I went with Kayvon Thibodeau to begin with. But at the end of the day, I was like, let's go ahead and address the offensive line, I guess. This guy's kind of fallen, so I went with Kenyon Green. Kenyon Green's coming off the really bad game against Arkansas, and I get it. Let's wait to see how SEC play shapes out. The 2 games he played this season at right tackle, he played very well. But he's a guy that could end up being a guard. I think he's a good scheme fit for LaFleur's blocking scheme here. Green's a guy that's at his best when on the move, and that's kind of what this offensive line wants to do, or at least what LaFleur's wants them to do. So I think Kenyon Green's a good addition, even if he ends up being a guard, or maybe he is a tackle of the future. So regardless, I think we addressed a position of need there with the guy who currently, one bad game, might fall a little bit. Let's wait to see how he does with the rest of the SEC play. Las Vegas Raiders. They're so tough to do right now. Like I imagine it's like, man, Tyler Linderbaum is very juicy here. I would love to throw him on the Raiders. I don't think he's a Tom Cable guy. So it's like, all right, that's out the window. Andrew Booth. Let's grab a corner. Casey Hayward. He's on a 1-year deal. Maybe he does come back, which is great. Then Booth, he could sit there as their cornerback 4 because they got Hobbs there playing the nickel, and then Mullins playing good football too. So maybe when Hayward, moves on, maybe we move Booth there. You got Booth and Mullins, but I was like, maybe not. Linebacker's actually kind of a need for the Raiders. I think Perryman has been their best linebacker this season, and I think he just got hurt, and he's really just a stopgap option. So I went with my top linebacker, Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd just seems like a Raider too. This guy that will be consistently a run stuffer. He's a great blitzer for one. Just one right there. You love him as a blitzer. This guy that can come up, take on guards and centers one-on-one. He mowed down Washington State center multiple times. He's also a guy that can bend the edge actually pretty darn well for a linebacker. He gets out to the flats, very explosive. He's got that desired length to where I don't think he will be a detriment if you drop him back in zone. So I like the pick here. Denver Broncos, best believe Spencer Rattler's on the board. He falls here. It's a good pickup. Teddy Bridgewater, he's a bridge quarterback. He's playing really good football, but still you got to imagine that he is not the end-all, be-all. He is not the final answer, but he's been a very good Band-Aid. Now, this is the Eagles pick. This is their third pick. I danced with the idea of wide receiver. I thought maybe we could add more to the offensive line, but offensive line class is super weird. I really would have loved Devin Lloyd. I think he'd be perfect because I think this Eagles team wants to blitz more than they actually are. Like, if you think about it, if this team, it really depends what Gannon's trying to do with his defense. Is he taking more out of from his time with the Colts, where that's a team that really just likes their front four to win? Or is he pulling from his time with Mike Zimmer, where he likes to blitz? He likes to get all up in them A gaps and B gaps and bring the pressure. Sounds dirty. Ooh. But yeah, there's I decided maybe based on what they've done thus far this year, I think maybe they're a team that just wants to win with their front four. Safety is like Anthony Harris is on a 1-year deal. They really have nothing else at safety, or at least no one that's playing particularly well. I went with Jalen Catalan, dude. I'm a big fan of his game. He's a guy. He's become a bit. He's a bit better of a tackler. Last game was kind of rough. He had that 20% forced missed tackle rate. Not great, but prior 3 games, he's been wonderful. Great in coverage. 2 interceptions, 2 pass breakups on the season thus far. The guy has rare movement skills. I just love it. I love the idea this guy can be a center fielder. You kick him in the slot occasionally, and it seems like he feels confident in the box. I guess that's the word. All right. Next pick here at 21 is the Chargers. Kingsley Enagbare. I love this cat at this pick. I think he's a guy you could like. Enagbare is a really good stand-up run defender, and then when you want him to pass rush, throw your hand in the dirt. Nasty get off, violent hands, physically imposing. I like this cat a lot. I think he's a really good fit for the Chargers as well. Putting him across of Bosa, scary. Arizona Cardinals, Andrew Booth still on the board. Let's go corner. It just makes too much sense. Like, corner happens to be the biggest need for the Cards. So, let's go ahead and grab the 5th corner. Next pick would have been the Tennessee Titans. I decided to actually trade down because I couldn't really decide on a prospect to get for them. I figured a team that maybe wants to trade up would be the Detroit Lions so they could grab a receiver because that receiving core, it ain't that good. So we went with Treylon Burks on the trade up. Burks, big. He's got that X wide receiver frame. Big bodied. Dude's got great speed for a man of his size. He's been dominating the last couple of games. Sure. Why not? Dallas Cowboys. This one was tough because the defense is actually playing pretty good football. I could have went edge. I think edge wouldn't have been a bad option here. With the top 5 corners off the board, I didn't feel great grabbing a corner here. So trade down, completely an option. Tyler Biotic hasn't been playing great football. So I went with Tyler Linderbaum, dude. Him being at 24 is a really good pick. Guy that doesn't necessarily have to be center. He could play guard. But it gives you more to work with on that offensive interior. Where I know they've been getting a good play as Zach Williams and Connor Williams, right? So I mean, you push Biotic at this point. Corner just didn't seem like there was an option there. Like Roger McCreary and Darion Kendrick were probably the next options. Martin Emerson, but I didn't feel right with any of those at this pick. Safety you could have made a case for, but their safeties are playing really good football there. Maybe add in another linebacker because they're playing like Micah Parsons has mainly been an edge rusher this season, so and a heck of a good one. And that's why I was hesitant to go edge because like Micah Parsons, they've been just blitzing him off the edge and it's been nuts. So I think Linderbaum for now. Miami Dolphins. I would have with the next linebacker on my board, Christian Harris. I think it's a good fit. He's a very good, he's a guy that can stack the box. He can stack blocks. He can take on blocks pretty well. He comes downhill with a head full of steam. And again, where I worry about him is when he drops back as a zone defender into coverage. He's actually at his best when he has to play man coverage because the guy is a wonderful athlete, a very good athlete. So he's actually a good fit for the Dolphins in that case. So I went with that. The Green Bay Packers. I'm sticking with what I love, and this time I got it right. Drake London. I can't help it, dude. I just love this pick for the Packers. I think Devontae Adams is na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Drake London, great after the catch. Cleveland Browns. I went with Adam Anderson. I know, Clowney. He's been a monster. I did consider Jordan Davis here. I thought interior may have been a way to go. It was either Jordan Davis or Perion Winfrey. Those are kind of the next guys, I think, in this area. But still, I don't like the idea of picking them here in the first. Adam Anderson just seemed like McKinney. He's probably gone after this season. Even if they bring Clowney back, Clowney's a guy that you can be very versatile with. You can kick inside and such. But yeah, Adam Anderson, I think he's a good sub-package guy. And then the Baltimore Ravens. I went with George Karlaftis. I think he's a good replacement for Derek Wolfe. I really like it. I like it a lot. I did consider safety, corner, linebacker. I considered anywhere for this team. So I ended up settling on Karlaftis just because I feel like he could have gone higher than this. But in the NFL draft, good prospects, they fall. And this is my final trade. I have the Buffalo Bills actually trading out of the first round because I couldn't decide on who to get for them. Not trading too far back. They trade back to the 38th pick, and they get some picks in return. I have the Chicago Bears trading up to get the next tackle I have on my board, Nicholas Petit-Frere. I think he's playing really good football. He's yet to allow a sack. He can play both the right and left tackle, and he showed that he could do both those at a high level. You already got your tackle of the future in, what is it? Oh my gosh. Jenkins, Bears. Tevin Jenkins. There we go. So you pair him up with the tackle position's been one of the worst for the Bears in all of the league, so you kind of need to address it. Tennessee Titans, we traded down, picked up picks, and I still got a guy I think is a really good scheme fit, Nick Bonito. Harold Landry, he's a free agent. Even if they bring him back, this guy, he's been on a tear this season. I may not be Bud Dupree in his one appearance this year. Wasn't that good. Nick Bonito's a guy that you actually could drop back into coverage. He could kind of be this Jamie Collins role in this defense. He can help Landry out a ton. Landry doesn't necessarily have to be on the field all the time. Landry is kind of the Iron Man for the Titans, but you help keep him more fresh with a guy like Bonito. So I like it. I like it a lot. Tampa Bay Buccaneers could have went a lot of different directions. I thought secondary, because the secondary has proven to be beat up and hurt and needs a bit more depth. I went with Jordan Battle, though. I thought he was the next highest on the board for me for the secondary class. Could have went corner, but I think Battle, at least his ability to come in and play in the slot, especially with Sean Murphy-Bunting, if he's a guy that ends up maybe not being retained in the next few seasons, because they got to pay a lot of guys, Carlton Davis, Jameel Dean. Maybe you keep Jameel Dean and Davis, and then you get a Battle who could end up kicking in the slot if you need him to, because Mike Edwards has played pretty decent football. Antoine Winfield's back there as well, so I don't know, just a guy you could do a lot of different things with. Final pick, best believe, Kansas City Chiefs. We're going defense. Their defense sucks. Went with Maja Sanders. He's got length. He's got size. I think he may be a bit under what Spag typically likes his edge players to be at. But Maja Sanders, dude gets to the quarterback with ease. The guy has that ability about him. I love his length. His get off is great. He just needs to use his hands a bit more precisely. Yeah, a bit more. Just know how to use your hands, hand placement. I feel like he could be near unstoppable. But that's my draft. I guess let's go ahead and take a look at the trades I made. Here, let me make this smaller. Does that work? Sure, that works. So these were the trades. Here's the first one. So the Steelers, they trade up. And but basically they had to give away a first rounder this year and next year. All right, well, essentially they had to swap first rounders. And then I had to throw a second rounder in there. I ended up getting a fifth rounder back. I mean, again, I had to like, this was also me having to use the Draft Network's like trade-in calendar or calculator, or however they do it. Trying to make it a fair trade. Also trying to make it a trade that'll get accepted. It was kind of wonky. So that was that. Y'all already know this one. This one was kind of weird because I had to trade up. So I gave away, or I swapped first, gave away a second, and a fifth and a seventh, because that was something looked like the Eagles needed. They needed more picks. But I was able to get a fourth back as well. So, especially giving up the second, I felt like I needed something else. So we got that there. Next trade, Lions, Titans. So, we swapped first rounders and basically, the Lions, they also, to move up 7 spots, we had to move down essentially, what would that be, 30 spots? Yeah, 30 spots in the fourth round. Well, from the third to the fourth round. So I thought that was a pretty fair trade. And then this one for the Bears, gave away a third and a seventh, or I picked up a third and a seventh, right? And giving away my second, my third. So essentially, what is this? 8 picks, something like that. 9 picks. So the Bills, they trade down 9 picks to move up 23 picks in the third round, and then they also changed their 7th rounder to a 6th rounder, but in the 2022 class. So I thought I thought the trades were fine. I don't know. If you're butthurt about the trades, then I don't care. That's it for the video. Go ahead and do the YouTube thing, and as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.